Always,
second
always
time.
true. Always true.
Always fun. I am excited for this Friday, end of February.
Yeah. You look excited. You're all dressed up. What's
I
up?
am. I'm all dressed up today. I'm not to say I don't dress up, but I do. This is a fairly special occasion. It is our 26th episode. It is the end of February,
Hmm.
last day,
Yeah, a lot of
and
things happening last week, right? Some things we're going to cover on a little later. Some news out of the HUD for the Housing Urban Development Department. Several things going on there. What
yeah,
else has happened?
we've got fairly major acquisition. There was a media company that's been in multifamily for over a decade that just got acquired. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. And then what else? Some other fun topics, fun news.
Yeah, lots of events, tons of events going on. We'll talk about that. There's also some cool projects that kind of trended this week. Conversion from office to residential, a little cheering for mural work that makes, art and architecture come together. So some cool stuff.
This is good.
Yeah. And we have an announcement. We're bringing some folks on, I think.
Yeah, this is true. Why don't we go ahead and bring our
No, not
favorite
yet.
folks on
Not
here?
yet. Not yet.
Oh, no,
No,
no.
no, I'm not ready. You look too good. I need I need to make an impression. I think Mike Brewer's coming on, so I better look a little at least as good as you, right? I have like
Oh
my
my
tie on.
goodness.
All right, I'm ready. Now,
Oh my goodness.
now you can
Okay,
bring him
one,
on.
a two, a one, two, three.
That is
Hey,
gold.
Jennifer.
That is amazing.
Jennifer, thanks for dressing up.
Well, I'm representing.
Yeah, yeah,
I
nice.
gotta represent our
I
swag.
am too. I am too. I have your logo right here, so we're very happy to have you guys.
Gold.
Oh, this is too good, too funny. Welcome, everyone,
Thank you.
to the Multifamily Weekend Update, now powered by the Multifamily Media Network.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we've got Mike and Jennifer on, the dual-headed team.
Yeah, like I'm like a monster. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about like this initiative? Sort of what's going on now, where you guys are headed.
Yeah, I'll take the now. I mean, let's say welcome to 2025. We are excited to power the weekend update with both of you. As you may or may not have noticed, our website is down. We are in the midst of loading a brand new website today, new and improved, which will include the Weekender. You will find their content on our website. We will be showcasing some great reels, TikToks, all of the great content that they are putting out. We will be helping them power that through social media and our website. So we're super excited for you guys to join us there. And I think most importantly, in the near future, in about a week and a half, we will be partnering with you guys, or you guys will be partnering with us at RecCon. So we will all be together in Vegas, and we are excited to see all of the folks there.
Awesome.
Well, Justin, that was gold, solid gold. What you just said.
Thank you.
That is my kind of awesome right there. My kind of humor is my kind of awesome. Yeah, and guys, I really am looking forward to this partnership and really thrilled to have you be a part of the team at MMN. And as it relates to the future, I know we have some stuff going on now, but I think the future will evolve. It'll certainly be a collaboration between you and the other people that we have in the Multifamily Media Network. I'm holding this way back because it's sort of in stealth mode, but MMN here in the center is this is kind of the roadmap for MMN. Can kind of expect that we're going to do 8 unique things that are going to be outcroppings, or what I refer to as the hub and spoke of MMN. So MMN would be in the middle, powering these 8 different spokes that we have. And then if you can imagine these rim of this spoke, if you will, or these spokes, is something that, at least the vision in my head, is that if people fall into the MMM ecosystem, there's going to be this cross collaborative effect, if you will, where people are going to be moving in and out of the hubs and the spokes, and MMM will be at the center of that, powering the thing. Really under the premise that we really want to, I'm going to use the word embolden, the future leaders of the multifamily space.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. I like your bespoke spokes.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
We've been in discussions with several different people that would head each one of those spokes. They're on board. We're moving forward with some pretty ambitious things, and look forward to maybe in the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll have some major announcements coming up. So
that's exciting. You all just celebrated like a year, right? You've been around a year.
On the 15th of February?
Yeah, we call it the Valentine's Day, announcement there. We are 1 year old. If I can just share, because I think it's pretty incredible to your point about the 1 year old mark. With all of our hosts combined, we have over 1,000 followers on our LinkedIn network. And now we have to actually add in yours, Justin and Eric as well. So that probably even puts us, 102, 104,000. So we are an incredible, have an incredible opportunity to really inspire the next generation of leaders. And of course, within that year, we've also grown our YouTube channels and our newsletter, which I know you guys will do as well. So we've just have an array of content that's been put out over the last 365 days.
Very cool.
Yeah. Multifamily is having quite the renaissance here, I'd say, in terms of, content creation. Lots of great people out there, regardless whether they're inside of the multifamily media network or not. I think all, rising tides lift all ships. And I think everyone's, various vantage points in the industry are desired and needed. And like Mike was saying, or the two of you, really, it's like there's gonna have to be a next generation of people that come in and work inside of multifamily, and there's going to be a transition of knowledge and education because we're inside of a technological revolution that's happening, right? The whole AI conversation and centralization, all these things are changing the way it was all done 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right? A lot of that doesn't work to this point, at this point in this day and age. So someone's going to have to be educating and building the future. So
I'm excited. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I think just to speak to that point, I don't know why I read this. I wish I could remember so I could attribute to it, but there's this sort of leadership gap that is happening with graybeards like myself who are exiting the multifamily space at, let's say, in the next 5 to 7 years. And then right behind that is a youthful generation, and there's a pretty good gap of age in between the graybeards and that youthful generation that's coming into the marketplace. And not to suggest that graybeards like me have all the knowledge in the world or the wisdom in the world, but we've certainly seen enough reps that we might be able to hand off some wisdom to that upcoming generation that might be useful as we advance forward.
Yeah. It's so different now too. I have not maybe as much gray, but some gray. But when I started this, right, information was distilled a lot of times, locally, very regionally, right? You were going to these local conferences. You weren't always traveling. But now that we have platforms like this or resources like this, people can learn from each other, across time zone. It's just a totally different game. And how to level up to your next spot on your career, how to improve your work habits, your resume, or just how you approach leadership or any of that stuff. So it's very cool that you guys are kind of taking the reins with it in that direction.
I do have to say, one thing that really, I think we love about you guys, and I want to say this, is you guys do a great job of curating the voices that need to be heard. And one of our passions is to be able to invest in those people, right, and bring those people up. And then you guys being able to share that on now your platform as well as on your Friday updates, right? We're able to give that opportunity to those folks that deserve to be, pointed out or shared with.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we are excited. It's going to be a great year.
Will be a great year. Any other thoughts, best wishes for the weekend? Any other kinds of things you want to share before you go enjoy your Friday, I guess?
Not for me. I would just reiterate that we are very much looking forward to this relationship and this partnership. I think of the two of you as incredibly creative and entrepreneurially spirited people, and that really inspires me in what we might be able to create in the future.
Yeah, cool.
I say enjoy your Friday. It's a fun one, and listen, it's 70 and sunny in Atlanta today, so I know. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, we got to all get out.
Right.
Off the screens. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Don't let San Diego and Texas have all the sun.
Yeah.
That's right. We deserve sun.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Can't wait to work with you guys.
Yes. More to come.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, let's hit the news. Let's hit the stories.
Now they're gone. I can take my tie off.
Oh my gosh.
Pressure's off. Pressure's off.
All right. Yep. Okay.
So what do you got? What do you got, Eric?
So the good one that I've got today is that the HUD Secretary is already starting to make some announcements, make a little bit of waves. Scott Turner announced that DOGE has entered the building. So they're already claiming that they have found inefficiencies to the tune of like $260 million. That's a lot of money. And on top of that, there are $4 million of DEI contracts that are being canceled, claiming that they do not benefit the American taxpayers. So I have yet to really see in detail where some of these savings are coming from. So I'm not exactly sure yet, as of this announcement today. I do know that we are going to be, looks like they're going to be withdrawing from the AFFH, which is the affirmatively furthering fair housing rule. This actually flip-flopped back and forth between like Biden era and Trump era. So this is more or less to be expected. But HUD is starting to push their weight around here. Yeah.
It's an interesting model, and I think one that we probably have seen because we've both worked in tech, right? It's a very techy kind of model to like come in and disrupt, right? To make a strong kind of like, hey, let's just like flip things on its head. Let's come in and do that. It feels a lot like that, right? I mean, I've read a couple articles that kind of point to that as well. I wonder how it will play out in these ways, right? Like it's one thing if you're working for, a prop tech company that's been around for 10 years and someone comes in and disrupts and breaks things and then starts to rebuild. It's another thing when you're working on all these different kinds of organizations. There could be some things gained. There will be some things lost. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know if you see some of that or have thoughts on that.
I do. Well, first of all, AFFH is essentially like more of a federal law. By taking it away or withdrawing from it, I mean, ultimately what's going to happen is local governments are going to have more flexibility with their housing issues. I think taking away things like housing vouchers or reducing, housing affordability options is, to me, not pro housing. Ultimately, we want, all Americans to be able to afford housing and not have to, be out there like selling blood and, like trying to sell their kidneys on the internet, right? I mean, It's just insane how some of the housing prices have jumped in certain markets. where it has become very unaffordable for people to live, within city limits, to be able to get to their job or school, to be able to live like a normal life. And I think my opinion on this is, if you're going to withdraw certain things, you need to have something else in its place set up and ready to go. Like, you don't want to have just like a gap that, you don't want to walk into a home and all of a sudden the floor is literally missing and you're just, shooting down 5 feet, into the crawl space.
Right.
So, I think whenever you have new tech or new adoption or new platforms, there's this level of like, you almost need a little bit of dovetailing in between so that things don't fall through the cracks. So if I was going to do housing, reduce housing vouchers, reduce these existing, supporting resources that are out there for housing and affordability, I would say, maybe say, hey, within 1 year, these are going to be reduced. And in that time, we're going to be building lots of housing, right? In order to meet the need to reduce housing costs so that the market kind of levels out. So to me, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't, maybe we'll have Scott Turner on and see what he says.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely, there's definitely something to be said by, moving fast, disrupting, and, just flipping things. But I agree with you. I think a moderated approach in terms of transitioning, whether you're transitioning off software solutions or transitioning the way leadership works or runs something, or, anything, like having that kind of like tiered approach to get to where you want to go makes probably the best sense to, harm is little, right? Do as little harm. But good stuff. Big news in our industry too, though, right? We have to make sure we mention the Yardi acquisition.
Yeah. Yardi got busy here, acquiring LCP Media.
That's a big one.
It is a big one. They actually announced a partnership back in June of 2024 with Rent Cafe. And like any good partnership, if you're the smaller partner in the situation, it's always nice to have a bigger partner, a bigger brother, bigger sister there to help you gain access to more customers. And sure enough, within less than a year, an acquisition has taken place. So congratulations, to the CEO. And I'm not going to begin to try to pronounce his name, but I could try. Wojciech. Yeah. I'll call him Woz.
There you go.
Yeah.
Someone can correct us. Someone needs to yell at us. We haven't been yelled at yet.
Someone should correct us here. Yes.
No, it's a great partnership, right? It obviously means that it was a good partnership. That's why they moved in that direction. You see this sometimes on the fee manager owner side. If you have a great asset manager representing you in a PMC, the ownership group likes them so much that they end up hiring them, right? Because they're like, hey, you have my interests. You see this all the time. So it just shows that they worked well together and that they have plans for the future. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's always incredible to see. So congratulations to them, and the rest of the team.
Nice. A lot of events coming up. I know we mentioned we'll be at RecCon with MMN. And a lot of you folks out there talking to different people. Right after that, or overlapping that, is the Multifamily Social Media Summit in Napa. A lot of excitement around that. Is that one that you've been to as a marketer ever?
I have yet to go. It's always a tough time of year for me to get to events like that. I'm fortunate enough to go to RecCon, with the MMM team here. So I'm excited for that. But these events kind of dovetail each other too quickly.
There's a ton. They're all kind of stacked on top of each other. MFE has the leadership summit in Vail, I think, next week. So you can't go to all of them. There's a women's leadership summit out of the Apartment Association of Greater Orlando. That's coming up here in a week. There is a Interface has some stuff. There's just a ton. I did kind of like look at what was being announced. I couldn't even keep track of it all. It was too many. It was too many to talk about. It would have been a very boring week in review because people would just be seeing like a calendar, basically. I could have filled it, the characters with a calendar, and that's not as exciting. So, but there's a ton of stuff out there. So if you are going somewhere or there's an event people should be paying attention to, even just in terms of the recaps to watch for, drop a comment or post it somewhere so we can look out for it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lots of things jam-packed, Dom Beveridge actually put together his 7th jam-packed annual edition of his 20 for 20 survey. He had 20 conversations with C-suite executives inside of multifamily, and there's some really good insights in there. So definitely go take a look at that. If you don't follow Dom Beveridge, you definitely should.
Yes, and you can easily download that report. It's definitely that's one to follow for sure and read and touch on. And it's great for experts, but it's also great for a primer if you're new to the industry. Like that's a great place to kind of get a lot of in-depth knowledge on really important things that people are talking about. I did see that that Willowbridge had a very cool announcement this week. It was the grand opening of Balsa in downtown DC, which was a newly office to residential project that they worked on that conversion. And we've seen a lot of those conversions in the last couple of years, especially post the pandemic. But I always enjoy looking at them because there's a lot of creativity that goes into these projects, right? Taking a building that was designed for something else and then figuring out another use for it.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see that. The composting, if you will, of the reuse adoption is something that's exciting to see that multifamily is able to take advantage of, thanks to likely some of the incentives that the Biden administration put into place. So little by little, it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and another kind of cool project. Was a mural project for Asset Living's Crest on Peachtree, right here in Atlanta. I guess there's a company, Upper West Side Murals. They're based in Atlanta, but I'm sure there's versions of these groups and talented artists all over. We've seen them. But they do murals and they really focus on kind of combining art with the architecture. They're not just, putting, graffiti on a space. They're actually using the structure that was built, using whether it's a, commercial space, a store, a residential living space, and they're crafting, art and designing art for that environment. So check that out. I think you can check Crest on Peachtree and Upper West Side Murals on Instagram. I know there's links. If you search for them there, you can follow them.
Yeah, check out Living Walls Atlanta. It's livingwallsatl.com.
Nice. And then, something else that somebody shared was, it's a nice little read. It doesn't take too long. There's some tips to having a better meeting using a marketer's mind. Let me find the name here. I can't look at it Brian Rosenblatt. He curated some industry experts, Debbie Ray Peters, Shelley Stites, and Janet Rosseth on like what a marketer would do in basically creating a positive or better meeting, like how they would approach it from a marketer's mind. And, as somebody who hosts meetings in my sales role and just life and on this show, right? It's a lot of hosting, right? It's like, and I don't mean hosting on a show, but really making somebody feel welcome. That's a lot of the takeaways was kind of leaning to that, but there's some really good insight and specific tips in that article.
That's great.
You look so official in your jacket, Eric. I feel like I'm on an interview.
I should do this more often. All right.
It's very, very anchory. Gosh, we look like, I feel like I'm the helicopter guy. If I start screaming about the traffic.
Yeah, you've got your jacket on and the 40-mile-an-hour winds and helicopter.
Yeah, that'll be the thing. I'll be the on location person shouting about something outside of a building.
And I'll be the person who's saying, "Can you get a little closer to the bear?"
There you go. Yeah, that's a whole other thing, right? Go visit construction sites, and there we go. We have another segment. Well, I think that's all we have this week. It was a great announcement from MMN. If you're not following them, make sure to follow them. There's actually lots of folks that I know personally. Their podcasts I've listened to, I think in some iteration even before they joined the Multifamily Media Network. There's a lot of great talent and industry insight from a lot of those shows.
Awesome. Well, thank you all very much for watching. And that's another edition of Multifamily Weekend Update. Ciao.
Bye.
All right, we are stopped.